a motion to come out of executive session, go back into regular session.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
This is moved in the second. We go from executive session back to regular session. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed are the same. We're now back into regular session. No decisions were made, no actions were taken while we were in executive session. At this time, is there anything we need to go forward with?
Elections.
We have elections and resignations. And termination, and a termination. And resignation. Yes.
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the one resignation, one termination, and 3 new hires, certified positions.
I second.
This is moved and second that we accept 1 termination, 1 resignation, and 3 certified hires. Are you ready for questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposers are the same. They have been accepted. Now we'll be having comments, public comments, and I'd like to say good evening to everyone. There's something I'd like to read before we start with the public comment. I think everyone should have gotten a copy of this. We will be coming forward with public comments. It is our public comment policy, BEDH-R, and it states, in order to ensure that persons who wish to appear before the board may be heard and at the same time allow the board to conduct its meeting properly and efficiently, the board adopts the following rules and procedures pertaining to the public participation in its meetings. Speakers may offer objective criticisms of district and school operations and programs as concerned items. However, in public session, the board will not hear personal complaints about district personnel, nor hear personal complaints against any persons connected with the district. Other channels provide for board consideration and disposition of legitimate complaints involving individual employees. Persons wishing to address the board representing themselves or a group must complete an available card, and that was done, I hope. The available card will ask for the individual's name, address, phone number, nature of the issue being presented, and where applicable, organizations being represented. This card will be available at the beginning at which permission to speak is being requested. Anyone needing assistance in providing this information will be given help. The public participation portion of the board meeting will be at the same designated time placed on the agenda for all regularly scheduled meetings. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the board. Appropriate language and decorum will be determined by the board chairperson. The board vests in its chairperson or other presiding officer the authority to terminate the remarks of individuals who do not adhere to the rules established above. The first public request form is Mr. Charles Graham.
Good evening, Superintendent, board chair, and board members.
Good evening.
My issue is, I just so happen to be sitting in on the meeting, and it's a large outstanding debt for the cheerleaders, which has been there for a long time. But my issue now is the current cheerleaders and cheerleading coach is having to deal with this large debt that was with a cheerleading coach from years ago.
I would ask that you make an appointment. I would say if it's the high school, with the high school principal at this time, and maybe with the superintendent or someone, and maybe we can address that that way.
Because I like to say, but I do it that way, but my reason for coming is because it's been addressed before. Like I say, now you know I'll still take care of it for you. But I just want to make
If it's not addressed, then I would suggest then you come before the board, and address that issue with the board.
All right, good enough.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Graham.
Thank you for all you do for our kids, Mr. Graham. Appreciate you.
Ms. Linda Collins?
Good evening to the board chair and to the members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you.
I am Linda Collins. I have an adopted grandson who is in the 10th grade at Marlboro County High School. And I was a teacher in the county for several years. When I went to the open house at the high school, I picked up his syllabuses for his classes. And one of them was a syllabus for a class, English 2 class, that was done by Elevate K-12, which is an online course. And in this syllabus, there were several essential questions which really concerned me because, in my opinion, they could be used to promote critical race theory. I spoke for a few weeks with Dr. Bryant about this, and he assured me that this was not the correct syllabus. And he did bring out to my house on Saturday morning what he said was the correct syllabus for this class. It's an English 2 class. And unfortunately, this also had a lot of essential questions in it. And I want to read some of the questions from the first syllabus. The first unit is called Dehumanization. And one of the questions says, what marginal groups in society are likely more prone to experiencing dehumanizing tactics by others? And there are other questions similar to that. That is in the first syllabus that I picked up at the high school. In the second syllabus, I've got a list of the questions, I think you've got a copy of it, that concern me. There are many of them. There are several in the first syllabus, and then there are 19 in the second syllabus. Number 8, what is humanity's responsibility to cultural atrocities and human rights violations? Number 11, what is oppression and what is the root cause? Those are questions that concern me. In my opinion, these questions do promote, or can, not necessarily do, but can promote critical race theory. And I do not believe that our students should be indoctrinated with this for the following reasons, and I'm about to run out of time, but you've got a copy of the reasons. For one thing, number 3 says it demeans people on the basis of race. And I do want to say that this critical race theory, they tried to do it in the 1960s, but even Martin Luther King said that he did not like it, and that's why it didn't happen in the 60s, along with other people didn't like it either, because he said, judge me by my character, not by the color of my skin. So this did not fly in the 60s, and I don't think it ought to fly now, and our students should not be indoctrinated with this. So I hope you will consider this. They are seeking to indoctrinate, oops, I gotta stop, our students, and I hope they will not. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Collins. Tim McNeil.
Boy, Chair, I think I'm gonna be pretty fast. Tonight I come to you as an angry, upset parent. Special education in Marlboro County is awful. Those high school kids in special education have nothing to get prepared for. They have no transition services, no career prep, no learning labs, no nothing. And my daughter has autism. And it is shameful. I see money flying out this door everywhere with special education. And I am tired and patient, but it ends tonight. Now, we spent $1 million on the field. We know that. We don't know how much this last executive hiring spree cost us. So I ask you to release the salaries, the position and the salaries of these last executives. If you're not willing, I'm filing a Freedom of Information request. I'll get it and release it. We gotta see where this money going. Special education is bad. 2 people, a director and a school psychologist. Look at Darlington, Chesterfield, Florence, Scotland. They got departments. So much. Families coming to me crying. Children with IEPs graduating. They're getting no help. And it is time to fix it. It's time to fix it. And we got some other problems. I warned you 2 years ago about purple and gold coming into our school code. Now, this didn't stop. We got a frat house back there. Those children from special education could use that building. So I'm asking you to fix it tonight. Any brave board member, ask for Attorney General opinion if this is legal. Contact State Department of Education, Legal Affairs. See if that's legal. Make a motion. No more purple and gold in our district. It's black and Vegas gold. Lastly, I ask you, that building needs to be painted by 5 o'clock tomorrow. It makes no sense. Another thing, I ask you to take 3, 4, 5 off everything because you don't need it. Give me a report of special education in this county and you tell me you mean those words. Those children have nothing, nothing. And it's time to fix it. I will be back. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil. Ms. Fleming, Nan Fleming. Oh, and Ms. Lawson, I apologize.
Gee, I got those nice chairs up there. When I was up there, you had those backbreakers. Oh, man, this is how you treat me. Good afternoon, thank you for allowing us this opportunity. We are COVID ambassadors for the state of South Carolina, South Carolina Department of Education, along with South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Controls. I'm going to read something to you that my daughter sent me. It was 9/11/2021 at 9:30 p.m. This was Friday night. As of Friday night, 11:30, we had 41,001,140 cases of COVID. We've had, that's nationally, we have 662,524 deaths. That number of cases is bigger than the population, the whole population of it, according to the 2020 census. California, Florida, Texas, and New York, which is our biggest states. That's how many cases we have. South Carolina has, as of Friday night, 784,052 cases, 11,149 deaths. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened in my life. Our task has been to try to work to get, along with the school district and anyone else, to get people vaccinated. And we've been doing that, working very hard. We appreciate all that you do. We want the opportunity to work closely because this is a job that's going to take every hand on the plow to do what needs to be done to convince people to be vaccinated so that we can move forward. I mean, I could talk forever, but I see I've taken up more time than Ms. Lawson has to say something. Oh, my 3 minutes. Okay, well then I can complain about that hard seat. That hard seat that I had to sit in all this time. Thank you all for all you do for it. I really appreciate it. And Dr. McCord, I thank you for all the work you do. It's been a tough time. And somehow or other, we have got to harness this thing. Please let us work together. Let us anywhere. We've done vaccinations and Head Starts at Tech and at schools, and we're doing it in a housing project, and we're just going everywhere, trying to get these shots in the arm. And if we can just, we went through this crib, and hopefully we can do some more things so that we can make it, get safe, that, make it better. The cure is here. Just somehow or another find the words to convince people to get that shot so we can get back to normal. And these numbers are going up every day.
Thank you, Ms. Mann.
Thank you, Ms. Lane.
You're working on it, Nate.
What?
You're working on
Thank you. I would like my 3 seconds back on because I'm going to use every 3 seconds I can. Thank you so very much for this opportunity to speak. Thank you. Just want to reiterate what Ms. Fleming said. Before you, you have information about the vaccination rate in Marlborough County. You have information about the vaccination rate in the school as of September the 10th. You have a flyer that provides you with what we've been doing in the community. And this particular flyer tells you about the vaccination event we're having on the 23rd. And you also have a brochure about questions and answers about COVID-19. I want to quickly say to you that since the 7th information came out, South Carolina has at least, is at 58.5% with one vaccination, 49.5% fully vaccinated. Marlborough County, compared to other counties within this district in the PD area, Chesterfield County sits at 33.4%, Gallatin County sits at 48%, Dillon at 40%, Marion at 47%, and Marlborough County is on the bottom at 33.3%. We are at the bottom, and we've been at the bottom. When we got in this initiative, we were number 26. We have made great gains in this county by providing information such as this. And what we want to do is to move that needle up more than just an inch and an inch. We want to move that needle up to where we can get at least another 4%, 48% of our people vaccinated or more. We want very much to ask that you understand that this is something that we're not here for show. We want Marlborough County to be on the top sometime. We're at the bottom all the time. The other thing I want to say is we've been working with a lot of providers, and we thank the school for working with us, but we want you to work closely with us. Let us help set up vaccination events in the school. We've been working, and I want to show honor and respect to this young lady. She's a member of CVS, Ms. Jenny Southers-Jones. She worked with us very closely to make sure that Marlborough County get vaccinated. She took days off to work with Marlborough County to help get us vaccinated. She was scheduled for this event on the 23rd, but unfortunately God had another plan for her. So we want to ask you, we want your staff vaccinated, we want the students vaccinated. We know that you can't mandate this. We appreciate that you have mandated masks because we want children safe at that school. We want the staff safe at that school. We want students safe at that school. So I ask you to please work with us. We want you involved. We want you to know the school vaccination rate. If those figures are correct, we want you to be concerned about that. We want you to understand that we are tired of Marlborough County being on the bottom. We're working hard. We're in this to win it. We're not in it for a show. I tell you that now. I'm working hard, and Ms. Henry Fleming is working hard. We want Marlborough County to be first in something sometime. Thank you for this time, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. Have a good day.
Thank both of you for what you're doing. Thank you. Dr. Rippon McLeod.
Good evening. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm back again. And I noticed it, and a couple of times I've been here, it seemed like there's been a concerted effort to silence me. First time, superintendent sitting over there eating potato chips. Second time, the technology wasn't working. Well, I'm not going away. And what I'm here about tonight is, you know, I brought you the information about the Omega Hut shack back there. And as of right now, it seems like nothing's been done. But bottom line is, and the thing that amazed me, you all went into executive session and called meeting, and after I gave you the information of his misbehavior, because some of you didn't even know about it, you all come back and give him a 10% raise. Now what's with that? He's not even worth the salary that he gets, let alone a 10% make wage. Oh, you want to try to silence me now? Okay.
No one said anything yet, but I'm asking you to be careful about how you direct your.
Yeah, and my time is
I
gone by.
understand that, but your time also has to do with the way you do things.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm just putting it down front where it needs to be. Other thing is, you gave him a 10% raise this time whenever he got into it with the fellow that was doing the bathrooms, and we got the $100,000 lawsuit. You gave him two more years on his contract.
I know you know you shouldn't do that. I know you know that.
Huh? Well,
Please,
hey, you responded.
I am, because you're not supposed to do it. And
Well,
you know that, sir.
You said that we're supposed to talk about stuff that's in the board's control.
Yes,
Superintendent is in the board's control, and I told you all the last 2 times, you all are his bosses. And
Mr.
you all
McLeod,
need,
at this
and
time,
you all
I'm
need
going
to
to ask you to stop.
Well, that's okay.
Thank you, sir.
But I'll be back.
Okay.
Because, like they say, you can't silence us. Like I said,
No one's trying to. We just want to make
and-
sure it's done in the right decorum.
Well, hey,
Thank
it
you.
is what it is.
Thank you, Mr. McLeod.
So you're trying to silence
Thank you,
me.
Mr.
You're
McLeod.
wasting my time too. But that's okay
Thank you,
because
Mr.
he's
McLeod.
gonna get his.
Thank you, Mr. McLeod.
That sounds like.
Matter of fact, it's time for us to get rid of this superintendent.
That's fine. That's fine. Mr. Keith Broington?
If I may wait, I think there's some others speaking on the same issue.
Okay, so you want to defer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Celebrations?
We have a few that we're going to celebrate tonight. And Mr. Chair and to the board, if I may, I do expect for everyone to respect decisions that are made because they're all made in the best interest of kids. And so I say that before I move into the celebration portion. Thank you for allowing me. Character Education Student of the Month, we'll have BPS and Lenham Middle School.
Based, and when you become a Google certified educator, you get to proudly display a badge on your email signature line, and also you receive a certificate. Our target, when I spoke to you several months ago, was to have 100% of our teachers certified by the year 23-24. Since then, we have extended that certification opportunity to all staff members. When they attend the Google Boot Camp, for those days of service beyond their contract days, they receive $100 per day, per session. And when they become Google certified, they receive an additional $450 for their certification, totaling $650. We've so far had 5 Google Boot Camp sessions, and those 5 sessions are 2 days each, which is a total of 10 days. We have 2 upcoming certification sessions, one beginning this Saturday, September 18th, and September 25th. And then in October, we will begin our first level 2 certification for those teachers who were certified level 1 earlier. The reason why we wanted to do this is to increase awareness and increase participation for those that were a little leery about why should they spend their time to become Google certified. To date, 93% passage rate. We currently have a total of 67 certified teachers, level 1 and 2, and in that certified teacher list, we include paraprofessionals, teachers, a nurse, administrative assistants, and all of this has happened since spring of 2019. Currently, Marlboro County has 1 Google certified trainer who facilitates all of the Google boot camps. And this is just a snapshot from our Google boot camp that was held on April 24th. At our local schools, our McCall Elementary Middle School leads our pack with 17 certified teachers, with Marlboro County High School following close behind with 14. The district office has 8, BIS 6, Blenheim Middle School Discovery 2, and Clio Elementary School 1. And Wallace Elementary Middle School with 5. We have our session coming up on Saturday, as I mentioned, and we actually have 26 staff members enrolled and 40 plus on the waiting list, which those teachers will be given first dibs on the next session. Any questions?
I'd just like to publicly acknowledge the hard work of you as well as those that have come in to take the course, teachers that have been successful as well as those that are waiting to take the test are being more successful in classrooms as they integrate Google as a platform in the classrooms, and I think that says a lot about you and your work, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wood.
Now we'll bring up Joy Rankin. Joy Rankin has a student who recently scored, well, I better not.
Cooper is a 4th grade student at McCall Elementary Middle School, and in the spring of this past school year, Cooper made a perfect score on the SC Ready math test. Now, to tell you what kind of feat that is, a typical 3rd grade range of scores is 250 to 575. Cooper's score was an 825. I think I need Cooper to tutor me in math. So I asked his mom and I asked his teacher to share a little information about Cooper so we can give him a good shout out tonight. So they shared with us that Cooper is an avid gamer and he loves to watch YouTube. He's very inquisitive and he enjoys figuring out how things work. When Cooper finds himself needing a break from the screen, you can find him buried in a book. He loves to read. Cooper has always had a knack for puzzles as well. He enjoys a good challenge no matter where they may take him. And in the 2021 school year, it was anything but normal. But despite all the challenges, Cooper obviously rose to the occasion and excelled. He's very driven when it comes to his education, and he strives for the best and always does what is expected of him. I want to say congratulations to his dad, who's his proud dad, who's standing over here beside of him, and his mom, who is also a 3rd grade teacher over, 3rd grade, Gail? 2nd grade teacher over at the Bennisville Primary School, Ms. Brandy Bullard. So we're very, very proud of Cooper. Congratulations, bud.
I'd like to have Dr. Jermaine Watson come to the front as we give him an opportunity to make a few comments. First of all, for the first time in the past 4 years, Marlboro County High School has reached a graduation rate above 81%. Let's give them a round of applause. I'll have Dr. Watson speak on that, but again, some people focus on what's not being done. I'm excited about what is being done. And so, Dr. Watson, if you care to share a few words. And congratulations to you and your staff and the class of 2021 for the hard work and effort. It's not 100%, but it's better than it's been, and we're looking forward to it continuing to get better each year.
Board Chair, Dr. McCord, members of the board, members and guests virtually here and present. So with the graduation rate, it's basically tracked from their freshman year to 9th grade year. So all the students that came into Marlboro County High School in 2018, those that graduated in 4 years, that's how that graduation rate is gauged. We started in November taking a really bullseye approach to looking at what's really going on. And in November, we had 55% of the high school students, seniors at the class of 2022, or the 9GR18, we had about 55% of them that were off track, meaning they were failing one or more classes, they failed a course their freshman, junior, or sophomore year, they were off track to graduating. So we had to implement some things, and my staff and the students really worked hard to hold each other accountable. I was given a task of giving each senior, each teacher 3 seniors to make sure we hold those students accountable. Dr. McCord tasked me with that, and I did it, and we did it. One of the things we did with that, we created the ARC program. ARC stands for Academic Recovery Keys. I think I mentioned that at another board meeting. Where we had students that were struggling academically in courses that they were in. So we kind of gave them a lifeline like debt relief. Why would we leave that student in that class struggling if they are already sinking, pretty much with an anchor on their leg? So we gave them a lifeline, removed them from those classes, gave them use the program Ingenuity to help better assist those students and make sure that they were academically successful. So when across that stage and receive our high school diploma.
You're doing a job well done. You're doing a very good job.
Thanks, sir.
But I also want to bring, and don't want to try to rain on parade or put anything negative on it. But I know we've been dealing with COVID.
Yes, sir.
And dealing with COVID. Is it a way that they score the graduation rate during COVID? Isn't it something that all students pass?
No, sir. There was no grace over grade. No, that 81% of students.
That is true 81%.
Yes, they earned every last point, grade point average, a grade they scored, they earned. It wasn't any grace over grades. They earned this.
Well, job well done. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else?
Thank you, Dr. Watson.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask for them to watch the video. One of our staff.
While playing accidentally, my son fell into the swimming pool, and for a few, like 1 or 2 minutes, I was not paying attention to him for 1 or 2 minutes. I just was looking somewhere else, and when I turned around, I found him in the water of swimming pool floating, and he was unconscious. Immediately the mother instinct kicked in. I started calling 911. I started asking my friends to call 911, and one of my friends helped me to take him out of the water. I wanted to hear him to talk to me, and the only thing that came to my mind was, before ambulance comes, before 911 people arrive, I have to make him wake up. I have to somehow try to talk to him. He has to talk to me. And before that, all this month we were doing safe school training videos on various subjects, and one of the videos was about CPR training, which we might use in the classroom if, God forbid, we have to. And I will not say it was planned, but immediately I started doing CPR. I have never done this before. This was my first time, and how I came to know about CPR is through safe school training videos. Like many other teachers, I used to feel like why we have to do all these videos, but trust me, since that day, I have been telling all my friends, I have been telling even the people who are not teaching, who are not in Marlborough County School District, if you can go through those videos, some of those videos are life-saving videos. And those safe school training, that CPR training in safe school helped me save my son's life. And he's with me today and I'm so glad. I hope those safe school training videos that we do as teachers, we don't have to use it, like I pray we never have to use it in our classrooms, but if we have to, those can actually save someone's life. When I took him out of the swimming pool, he was still unconscious, and with I started giving CPR because that's whatever I learned from the safe school training videos. And after 2 attempts, I was able to make him wake up. He started coughing up water and he was awake, he was crying, he started breathing. And when the ambulance arrived, because I was still in panic mode, ambulance, like the doctor said, you don't have to panic, you have done the 99% part you have done. He's alive, he's awake, he's talking, he's breathing. That's what they said, that you saved his life. Even the doctors, when he reached to the ER, the doctors said that because of the CPR you gave, you saved his life, and I could do that only because of the training I got from the safe school videos. As I told you before, I have never done this training before, and it was virtual. I saw the videos, but practically, yeah, I could do it and save my son's life.
So I'm going to ask Board Chair McNeil to join me in the front as we give the certificate of commendation to Ms. Rashina Singh in recognition for her ability to calmly put to use life-saving skills learned from the district's Safe Schools training. And she has a family with her. Let's give them. So I'll ask Lee Wilson, he left. So I'll ask Patricia Bennett and Kay Knight to come forward. This is our district teacher and district staff person of the year. And on behalf of Horace Lee, sitting on the floor.
Opposed are the same. The minutes have been approved. Board items for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry.
is it possible that we move the men of Omega to the top of this list? And the ESPA.
I'll be quick on that. Okay. Let's just move, if that's okay with the rest of the board, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay, are we good?
You're gonna move both of them on that?
We'll move both of them up, and then we'll come back to COVID capital improvement.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with middle Omega, Sci-Fi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to the chairman of this board. Good evening to the members. Good evening to the community that's present. My name is Gregory Kane. I am a proud graduate of Marlborough County High School, right here in this district. I'm also a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Tonight, we understand that there's been some conversation, and we even heard some tonight, Omega Hut and that fraternity house, where we want to ensure that we're here standing as a group, able to change that narrative and make sure that it's clearly known and conveyed who we are, what we do, what we believe in, most importantly, what we don't do. We'll start there, if that's okay. So just kind of recapping, while we're here tonight, we understand that there's been some expression, some concern about what we do with the property that we share with the school district. We want to make certain that we're clear that we, the members of this great organization, stand here to oppose that. We stand firm on our beliefs and our principles, and we'll talk more about that tonight. Indeed, for confirmation, we've partnered with the school district. We've offered to reimburse a portion of the monthly utility fees. Yes, we've painted and performed facility improvements on that property. This property, others have allowed or have been allowed to turn it as they see fit. This is not a fraternity house in terms of that common thought. This is actually a mentorship center. To this date, we've had one official event there, and that was a chapter meeting amongst the men of this fraternity. Also tonight, we're here to express our desire to continue with this partnership. In just a moment, we'll talk more about the organization and our belief system. But I also want to start with, and I think sometimes it's faster for understanding, to tell you what we aren't. We are not abusive to the property that we share based on this agreement. We are not in violation or in the terms of this partnership agreement. We do not condone the sale, use, distribution of any illegal drugs, tobacco, or alcohol. We do not condone any activity that's going to violate the terms of this agreement, jeopardize our reputation of our organization, the reputation of any of our partners. We will not take on any risk that may adversely impact our ability to perform our community service and the mentorship programs that we've established. You've heard me mention Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. You've seen on screen Lambda Iota Iota, or LI squared. I want to provide some explanation because others have had the opportunities to create this narrative. We want to take this time to make sure we are able to settle that. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated is an internationally recognized fraternity. Established in 1911 on the campus of Howard University. Our chapter, Lambda Iota Iota, as of December 7th, 1991, was founded here in Bennettsville. We serve Marlboro, Chesterfield, Richmond counties. We're approximately 35 to 40 members of our group. Once again, these are college-educated men that are seeking to make a difference in their communities. Relative to the school district and our community, who is Lambda Iota Iota? Once again, chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We're an effective partner with the school district. We also are an effective community service provider. Relative to the school district, we are collaborating to host a membership mentorship program and to be fully accountable due to pandemic and other reasons. We've not maximized our ability to use that facility. However, we're planning and we'll continue to move in that direction. We're an effective community service provider as we have 30 plus years of giving thousands of dollars in scholarships to young men and young women of this region for pursuit of their academic goals. We've been a collaborative partner. We've also hosted many community-based events, coat drives, back-to-school drives, mentorship programs, vaccination rallies, voter registration campaigns, and other matters at hand that are impacting our community. As we get into more of the individuals that make up the Lambda Iota Iota chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, I would be remiss if I didn't take just one moment to mention the loss of one of our dear brothers. Yes, he served in Richmond County, he was a sheriff, but as an organization, he's very important to us, very important leader, very important man, very important bridge builder. You'll see the excerpt of that poem on screen, W.A. Drawing Board, Bridge Builder. So we've talked about what we aren't. We spent a few moments addressing who we are. why we exist, how long we've been here. I think it would be important for us to spend just a few moments to talk about what we believe in. Our Cardinal Principles, as you can see on screen: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. These are principles that we believe in, and also we want to use to help others, not only in the community, but the youth that we serve as well. In terms of manhood, being able to develop more in terms of responsibility, their love for God and family, and unselfish living, being quality men and exemplifying manhood. Scholarship, as I mentioned earlier, we're all college graduates. We're here and we understand the importance of continual and ongoing learning. We are here, we understand the importance of being able to pay it forward and help others out. We understand how important it is to persevere and to offer uplift as other principles. We have heard it mentioned several times tonight, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's happened through COVID, before COVID. There's a lot that we're still planning. Perseverance is what I'm referring to. Very important key. Not only do we believe it, but we practice and we also teach it. Our motto: friendship is essential to the soul. We don't believe that is optional. We don't believe it's a choice. It is essential. We also believe the structure of all communities, most importantly our community, is built on faith, and the elements that it is so very important that it's personified is in the realm of commerce, our business. As we're talking tonight, in the realm of our school and our entire school system, our places of faith or worship, and as I'm sure a lot of parents would attest, everything starts in the home. This is a part of our belief system. As we talk about what we believe in and who we are, I also wanted to take a few moments to personify that. As you look at this list, and I want to linger here for just a moment, you may recognize a lot of these names in your community, in your city, in your county. We're here and we're serving in the realm of faith, education, athletics, community leadership, even here on the board tonight. I'm very thankful and very grateful that I have brothers in my fraternity behind me in support. I've got brothers directly in front of me. I'm grateful. In addition, we serve on school boards outside of the county, in Richmond County. I hate to belabor this point, but I think it's very important as I move on to the next slide. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. We serve in the realm of law enforcement in many capacities, as listed above. County commissioners. We have a series of entrepreneurs. In other words, those that are able to take the principles that we believe in, the education received, the experiences that we all go through, and then come back to begin organizations to go out and solve problems in and outside of our community. As I've bridged the organization, our chapter, specific individuals, roles that we play in the community, I wanted to ensure that we spend just a few moments illustrating this. We are a pillar in this community as an organization. The men that we've spoken of or that were listed earlier comprise this organization. I understand, I know many that are in this community and county have seen our presence over the years, and we will continue to do so. As illustrated, we serve. It is quite important. Due to time constraints, I chose not to include all of our photos. I understand we don't have all night. We have other groups that you want to hear from. But I want you to, those in the audience, those of you on the board, to see the variety. Not only are we out in the community, present, but we're collaborating. We're working with others. We understand the importance of back to school. We understand the importance of coats, as far as coat drives and things of that nature. The last time we gathered as a group was in this very room. Some of you can recognize that from the photo on the far right. Vaccination hours, one of the points that was made by our community members tonight. So from a number of perspectives, we stand and we serve. There's more. On the next slide, not only do we have presence, but we're not empty-handed. Of ourselves, of our organization, we're purchasing supplies and materials. We're serving food and drinks and treats at the back-to-school rally here in Marlborough County. So I don't want, I'm representing the group, we don't want this community to feel as if we're just here and we're messing around at the old frat house. We're preparing to serve, to lead, to take charge within this community. If you would spend just 1 second looking at the picture in the center at the lowest point, those three gentlemen have 125 years of service in this fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. If we were about some of the things that were labeled, those gentlemen wouldn't be a part of this. There's more. We're still serving, and I wanted to ensure that we saw additional images even from this very room here where we're standing behind the young men, supporting them. The event pictured on the right is within the county, Clio, South Carolina, community leader, requested assistance, we're there. We have plenty or much more additional info and insight in regards to our ability to serve historically, currently, and as we move forward. This is facility a lot of us are talking about, right? I've heard, what do we hear tonight? Hut. We've heard fraternity house and frat house. This is a mentorship center, ladies and gentlemen. We want to establish that for the record tonight. This is what this facility is about. And for everyone who may be wondering, and I know I'm looking at the board, but I'm addressing the community on this one. In terms of our activity, we've had one official chapter meeting in that facility. As we move ahead into this fall, there's the outline for our mentorship program. We would love to have community involvement, certainly your support in terms of being the board members here at the school district level. We are grateful. We thank you for the opportunity to work with you and partner with you. And we want to continue to do this great work. We certainly want to take time tonight to come in to address these matters at hand. As I conclude, we aim to continue our partnership with Marlborough County School District. We do not, will not, shall not condone any of the activities that have been reported or stated. I also want to make sure that it's clearly known that there's no member in this community, I'm sorry, to make sure I'm clear, there is no member in this organization, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, that stands to personally or financially gain or benefit from any of the activities that we perform. We want to ensure that we continue to communicate openly, transparently with the board. We also want to challenge the community, get to know us, work with us. We're here, we're serving, and we're not going anywhere. And I don't mean that with any harm or with any malice, but we're here. That purple and gold we were referencing a few times today, I said, I'm a graduate of Marlborough County High School. I have a great appreciation for the black and gold. Yes, I do. But this purple and gold is also here in this community as well. We want to work, as we're doing currently, work with you. We're here about the youth, the students, and the community at large. We will continue to stand as resolute men, serving in this community, in this county. We merely ask if there are any questions or concerns or issues, please contact us, let's have a conversation. Otherwise, let's work together to make sure that we can do everything that we can to benefit the youth of this community. I thank you for your time and your attention.
I want to commend your organization for the good work that you've done in the community. I've seen you out in the community do good work.
Thank you.
All over the place. Mr. Chuck Graham is the most visible one, the Omega that we've seen in the school district. And he's been here for over 10 to 15 years.
Yes, sir.
And when Chuck Graham first came into here, he came to this very board meeting asking him to come to mentor our children. He did things by going into the schools all over the county. And he's still continuing to do the work. Now, as far as the partnership and for as the trailer, this board had no knowledge, period. And as far as the property out there and any school property in this Marlborough County, the board has to approve for anything other than a school being on the property. As far as mentoring our kids, man, that's a blessing in disguise. But here's the thing. We had maybe 10 or 12 of those trailers out on school property. We auctioned them all off and to get rid of them. And we spent probably $75 to $100 million updating the schools in this community. And our superintendent said the trailers were an eyesore, and they were. Because now we're sitting here on a $15 million facility here at BIS. But if all the other trailers was an eyesore, any trailer is an eyesore. And it may look like, because of the fraternity, that there's a conflict of interest, and there may be. But for us, if you want to mentor our kids, we have protocol to follow because you have to have background checks and everything in order to admit our kids in our school. I don't know nothing about the partnership because we haven't heard about it as a board. And if you want to admit our kids, you can use this auditorium, the cafeteria, or anything. We will set you up a mentoring center because we want you here. But to have a frat house, or what everybody calls it, on school district premises, I just don't think it's a good thing because here's the thing, we can't trust anybody with our kids alone, especially not in the back. When we have a school facility, a $10 million renovation that we just done to bring here, we will give you access to any and everything you need. So that being said, I just want to say, like, who gave you authorization to have the trailer on the school district property? Because again, we are paying the light bills and the water bills.
I can speak to that.
Doctor, I think that you need to recuse yourself from this.
No, to answer the question, respectfully, I'd like to answer that question. The answer to that question is me.
You gave them authorization, okay? All right, well, that's good.
I did.
It's good to know because they didn't violate anything because you gave them authorization.
Correct.
Without conferring the board, okay? Now, do y'all own the trailer? Do you own the trailer?
I'm gonna let my officers speak to that effect.
Well, let me just ask you, do you have the property title for that trailer? Yes. You do have it? Yes. Okay, we would like to, as the board, need to see the title. But we're liable for anything happen to our kids on that property, on that trailer. And I think that's a liability that we don't need to be outside, or it could be any other implications, because again, everybody needs to have a background check if they're gonna admit our kids here on this property.
I agree. And I'm so grateful for that response and your question, but I also want you to know, I want the audience to know, the board to know, we share the same sentiment. Right? It makes no sense to have what we could deem or term to be a fraternity house on the school grounds. Right? As I mentioned to you, that's the narrative that started outside of us. No one came and talked and asked, what are you doing? What types of activities are being held? That's just a word that's floating around, which is why we want to take this opportunity.
Absolutely.
To set that straight. And we're grateful for this time. We thank you again. Any other questions?
All right. Board Chair, I'd like to make a comment. Yes. Before we end.
Please.
You good? All right. The undersigned is a member of Marlboro County School Board of Trustees. This shall serve as notification of my recusal of the following meeting date and matters. September 13th, 2021, men of Omega Psi Phi. The reason of my recusal is as follows. I am a member of the organization. While I do not believe there is legal conflict of interest, I wish to recuse myself from participation in the discussion of this matter, as well as any vote to avoid of any appearance of impropriety. I ask that a copy of this written document be attached to the minutes of this board meeting indicating herein as public notice of my recusal and my reason for doing so.
Mr. Chair. You can go ahead. Well, I'm going to make a motion, so you can go ahead before I make
I too would like to make a comment as it relates to, I don't have a decision to make tonight if there is a motion, because I'm not a member of the board. However, as superintendent, I always believe that I make decisions that are in the best interest of serving students. As you all know, mentorship is one of our 3 initiatives in the district, and that is something that we'll continue to do. We'll continue to seek out partnerships with individuals that want to mentor our students. I also want to acknowledge the fact that no volunteer has been or will be allowed around any of our students without going through our volunteer process. I too am a member of this organization, and I too do not believe there is a legal conflict of interest. I would like for it to be noted in any meetings from tonight that, again, I support the efforts of any group willing to partner with the district to support our students for the purpose of mentoring them to become better, whole, well-rounded students. Thank you.
Ms. Coachman?
I'd just like to say that I too want us to continue the mentorship with the Omega guys, and I think they could be a great asset to us in that way. But again, the trail had been there for a year and a half. The board had no idea of what was going on until one person brought it to attention, and then the whole community is looking at the board. We have rules and regulations and guidelines to follow. And this board has to take responsibility for anything that happens. I would like the group to be to follow up and continue mentoring our kids, but we just cannot have a fraternity house on school grounds because of the liability that it could cause us. Fraternity houses and frat houses are majority of 90% on college campuses. This is a public elementary school district, and we want to educate our kids and mentor our kids, but we have the facility inside to do it. And I'd like to make a motion that we give the fraternity the opportunity to move the trailer off of our school premises, but continue to mentor our kids, and we work with the organization as a whole.
I'll second.
Isn't it moved and second that we instruct, am I saying this correctly, the fraternity to remove the building from the facilities? Am I correct in saying? Is that the proper way?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready for questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposes? So moved. ESPAA update.
Greetings, Chairman Neal, members of the board, staff of the Marlboro County School District and schools. Most of all, hello to all of you public that are present tonight. What we try to do, as we've done in the past, is to make sure that whatever we're dealing with, you have ample information concerning the same. You will notice the packet that was given to you contained a correspondence dated today. Also, a correspondence that referenced the request for our appearance before you that dates back to the 12th of July. At any rate, we still appreciate the opportunity to cite a few things that may or may not be of interest, or the same level of interest, shall we say. But it's very important to the group of committed community folk, better known as the Eastside Preservation, Eastside School Preservation Alumni Association. Now, having said that, in the interest of time, I want to direct your attention again to the letter dated the 13th today. And the letter attached to that was sent to you earlier, dated the 12th of July. A picture included in there of the Eastside School in its pristine beauty days. You take a look at that. Also, we had an advance copy of a letter that in fact was asked to be shared with you, and you should have that. It is from the daughter of the longest prevailing principal of that school. We're just going to refer to her as we always do, our beloved Muriel Walker. I don't know, frankly, some of the rationale behind some of the accusations that are alleged in the letter. All I can tell you is that I hope they're not true. And if they are, I hope you will take the necessary precautions to make sure, preventative measures, to make sure that that they do not materialize. Dr. Walker McFarland now is, as we've heard from many, this is just a sampling of things to come, are very concerned about the issues that we're trying to bring to the forefront for you to act on. Please understand this. I am by no means trying to negate or belittle the efforts that were made on the 17th. We appreciate that very much. And what I'm talking about is the fact that we agreed to enter into an agreement. However, that agreement was and is to focus on a property use for designated points or locations of the school site. Namely, the auditorium, which you saw a picture of being transferred around. And by the way, that's what that beautiful picture could look like if we're allowed to proceed. It's just a possibility, okay? Picture over here, you've seen it before. We've been doing our work, folks, and we expect the continued cooperative relationship that we've established with you to do just that, continue. Now, the issue that needs clarification stems on basically two venues, if you will. You gave your commitment approximately a year ago, a little bit a year in November, to postpone any actions involved with that site out there for 1 year. We asked on the 17th, should we continue our plan? You gave us the response that yes, we should. All that being said, notwithstanding the fact that we are, at your insistence, you're the ones that said we need this legal whatever involvement at this point. So we have our designated attorney on board to work with us on that particular side of the issue. That does not preclude, nor negate, nor stop our efforts that we've committed to and bring before you on our time is up November 2nd, one day after. Of course, we'll try to make those dates coincide. But moving along, I think the agenda is long enough as it is. I don't want to, just make it that much more, shall we say, uncomfortable in the terms of the time that you're spending, nor the time that we're spending. We narrowed down our focuses into 4 primary areas of the things that we would undertake. You've seen this before. You have copies of it. And again, please, at your leisure, or at least your first opportunity, reread this stuff so we are on the same page. Some of you I know are paying a lot of attention to it, but there's evidence that maybe it needs a little more attention at this time. We were to physically evaluate the building's conditions. Okay? We're into that very, very pointedly. were to look at optional uses of the available facilities. Excuse me. To look at the overall site situation. Try to maintain the pristine beauty of that east side campus, etc. And then looking at resources that might be brought to bear. We've taken this one step further, and we've narrowed it down now to basically three, if you might say, pointed approaches. One being the history. And Mr. Cleve Jenkins has a few comments he wants to make about that. He's an active and energetic member of our organization. In fact, he controls all the money. So I'm going to briefly pause and have Mr. Jenkins come up and make his comments or so, if he doesn't mind. We'll go from there.
Thank you, Luke. Good evening to you all. For the ones who don't know me, my name is Cleveland Jenkins. I am a citizen of Marlboro County. No, in fact, I live right across the street from the Mexican restaurant. Okay. I'd like to share with you all my perspective of the history of Eastside High School. It won't take long, but let me go ahead and get started. Eastside High School was one of the many schools that was built as a result of the 1954 Supreme Court ruling, Brown versus the Board of Education. Thurgood Marshall successfully argued that case before the Supreme Court. I started school at the Eastside Elementary School in 1954, the first year that it was open. Can you imagine a little country boy going to a school downtown for the first time with inside plumbing? That's what I did. Many did the same. Okay. I graduated from the Eastside High School. I was a member of the class of 1965. I can remember trade and industrial conventions, South Carolina school bus drivers training for the entire county, the District National Honor Society conventions, county basketball tournaments, county spelling bees, and other programs and events that were held right there at the Eastside High School. If I remember correctly, the last graduating class was the class of 1969. From 1982 into the early 1990s, the Ujamaa Drama Club used the auditorium and adjoining classroom, the band room, behind the stage for rehearsal, production, and presentation of community plays. Ujamaa Drama Club was the Marlboro County first African-American community theater company. The auditorium was also used for plays, performances, gospel singing, events, and other programs during the mid-80s. The event was always a giant success right here in Marlboro County. You could pass and see the cars out there. If you didn't know better, you may think you were at Madison Square Garden by the crowd they had out there. Moving on, in the mid-90s, sororities and fraternities used the gymnasium for cheerleading, camp basketball, volleyball, and other sports competition. The Eastside School was known as a beacon, a drawing card for many other schools, I might add, because you knew whether it was academic, sports competition, or any other programs or event, Eastside was a class that would offer the very best. Eastside produced many great people that contributed greatly to the success of the county, city, the county, the state, and the country through many walks of life. A few that I would mention at this time would be Miriam Wright Elderman, Dr. James Boston, Patricia Hennigan, our district representative, and our own mayor, Carolyn Prince. We were right there together. I was a year or so ahead of her, but we were all right there together, just to name a few. We know we have a grand opportunity to become a class act again that will offer great value to many citizens of Marlboro County. I sincerely hope that with a joint effort between Marlboro County School Board and ESSPA, we will do the right thing and seize on this opportunity. If you all look around, you know you got more people here than you normally see. Some have already left. The reason they're here, not to come in out of the sun, but they're too concerned about where we're going. I stay on the phone, meeting people from time to time, asking questions. What's going to happen? We're going to do the right thing. We're going to do our part. We're reaching out to you all, everyone. Help us in this joint venture. We can make this a class act again for the old East Side School. We need your help. Let's do the right thing and get it done, folks.
Thank you so much, Lee. And really, we talked about the pristine nature of that site and what it could be again. And notwithstanding that mound of dirt out there, Cotton McCoy, this overgrown now is like a forest. But it could get back to what it was. We want your help. We're going to work with you. I'm going to address the second focus of this deal, the challenges ahead, and there are many. The buildings are in dire need of maintenance and other related actions in a collective manner. But we're not here to complain so much as we are to say, look, we are at a point now where if you will allow us, we'll continue to go down this road. And that road is going to end up with a well thought out plan for the entire 30+ acres that you will have an opportunity, as you should, but the public will have an opportunity also, as they should, to determine exactly what happens to that valuable, and if you're not talking about the dollars and cents, that's not the issue here, emotionally valuable from a legacy standpoint. On and on and on and on, people. Work with us. This is a progress report. This is not the mandated, in a sense, or agreed to agreement that's going to involve our attorneys working out an initial, if you will, use agreement for those designated components of the school, starting from the auditorium, around the band room, down around the old shop area, down to the gym, and on down to what we call the old Walker Sanders wing. I saw a hand go up. Was that to answer a question?
Mr. Johnson, I heard you say something about about the plan. Do you have anything that you already written out as far as the plan or anything?
That's where we are exactly at this point, and that final deal, unless we miscued and that's due on the 2nd of November or before. You will have that. In addition to that, let's do a little bifurcation here for a minute. The agreement we agreed to have worked through deals with those pointed locations, okay? From the auditorium down to what I call the Sanders Oliver Wing. There's still much more to be done out there in terms of agreed upon approach that the community is hopefully going to have a big voice in, and hopefully we're going to reach an agreement that everybody finds something you want to do. I think the word was, I believe, Board Member Branch, and I think Board Member Coachman in particular, we're searching for a win-win, okay? All right, I'm gonna pause again and then wrap it up in a minute. Our illustrious member, Mr. Samuel Bass, will come before you now and talk a little bit about some of the opportunities that specifically we can deal with out there. Mr. Bass.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. McCoy. We appreciate the opportunity to speak before you tonight. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that I come from. I graduated first from College Elementary School. I helped with my college alumni folks supporting us in this effort. We were like a feeder program to the Great East Side, and we contribute greatly to the academic success of that school from the standpoint of our academic acumen and the training that we received at college school. So saying that, I want you to know that we have tremendous support for this effort. And as a result of the Association East Side Preservation Association initiatives, the public interest in this reclamation and renovation of this 33-acre properties has increased exponentially. We have gained support from survivors of the first graduating class. How about that? Survivors from the first graduating class have called us and supported us in this effort. We are also getting support from the successful businessmen and women and clergy and legislators, sororities, fraternities, attorneys, and other non-government organizations and nonprofit organizations, such as the Marlboro School Community Center, such as the Marlboro Development Corporation, such as the College Alumni Association. So that's just a few of the people that we have supporting us. Now, there are many opportunities that we have here, and I'm telling you, they are tremendous, but I don't have the time to mention all those opportunities. But this is an opportunity for a strong partnership and coalition. We can't do this. This is a monumental effort, and we need your support. We need the board's support in carrying out this effort. Not only do we need the board's support, we need the support of other organizations in this community, especially the Development Board, the Marlboro County Arts Council, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, who has a great interest in that Lake Paul Wallace there, and the Lake Paul Wallace Authority, and working collectively toward a common goal to serve the community at large. This is an opportunity to create and operate a business incubator in one of the wings of that school on the east side property. We can create a business incubator that will help jumpstart or upstart businesses by reducing their overhead startup costs and operating costs by putting in a central communication system and other support technology. There are opportunities abound to implement a diversity of programs to address the many needs of our youth and our citizens and our senior citizens. For example, a boys club, a STEM school, a STEM organization for our kids to serve our autistic kids when their school is out of session during the summer months. Reading is fundamental. Tutoring, Head Start, for example, one of the largest premier early childhood education in the state of South Carolina and in the nation. Opportunities for there are opportunities for ESPN to cooperate with the city of Bennettsville, and again, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources and the Lake Paul Wallace Authority in mitigating the flooding and stormwater runoff that begins at the spillway of Lake Paul Wallace and at the pond that's just below Lake Paul Wallace. That's a part of that 33-acre tract. We want to be a part of developing that so that we can help contribute to making Crooked Creek a safe place to live, and as well as help relocate those people that are living in that flooded area. This is an opportunity to develop an affordable housing program. I guess you asked me, so where would you put an affordable housing program? On the football field, on the 4.5-acre football field. We may be able to help relocate those people that need to be moved out of the Crooked Creek area. And this place, that community has been, that school is being used to expand our recreation program. But it's not happening now. what we can contribute to the recreation program for Bennettsville and as well as Marlboro County. Again, I want to reiterate that, and you've heard it from my colleagues, we can't do this alone. And this is not going to happen in 1 or 2 years. We're going to do this in phases, and we're going to do it the right way. But we can only do it unless we have your continued support. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Bass.
Thank you, Mr. Bass. Sam, that was remarkable. Both you and Cleve, sometimes I wonder when you come up with these methods of delivery that makes it so crystal clear just how important this whole business is. And you've heard about the opportunities galore. And before we conclude, as a matter of a question, if you will, if I'm allowed to do that, we have the understanding we're on the right path. Okay? We think we're doing what you asked and approved us to do. Now, if we're not, we need to know. We need to know right away. I would love to have somebody react to that to assure us, do you feel we're on the right path? Do you feel we're doing what we agreed to do? Because things have a way of somehow getting lost in the shuffle. We've asked for the copy of the minutes from the 17th in writing several times. I know you just approved them tonight, but we need to see those. We need to look at them and make sure our reflection from the 17th in particular, because you know that was a call meeting, or handled accurately. You got your hand up.
Yeah, you asked a question, Mr. Young, and I just want to answer the question for you. Based on what I've heard tonight from you, Mr. Jenkins, and Mr. Bass, I think I see a clear plan that you had, and a plan that I think that will fit Marlboro County. So we know where you're at, and we appreciate the update. So that definitely helps out a lot, explaining exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be done on there, what type of programs are going to be benefiting our community. So thank you for that. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Well, with that kind of comment, my old man always told me, quit when you're ahead. So thank you again. We're here to do right by you and all of us, especially the general public. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank all of you again for coming, for your support on behalf of the East Side, and hopefully we'll continue to go forward with that project. Thank you very much. Hold it up next.
I'm trying to So this is Marlboro County School District on September 10th. What we look like as a district on the 10th as it relates to COVID positive cases and quarantine students and staff. Some of you may recall back in late August, the board courageously approved for a mask mandate here in Marlboro County. Our numbers at the time were significantly higher. Take a look at where we were August 23rd, prior to the mask mandate. We were over 650 cases of students and staff having to be quarantined. Since the mask mandate, those numbers have dropped down tremendously. Now, I can't 100% clearly say that the decline is due to the mask, but I can tell you that the efforts of this school board, our students, our staff, have work to the positive in a reverse way. We are now 1 week beyond Labor Day, and so we're going to see how these numbers continue. And I wanted to be sure to share this information with the board and with the public, because again, one thing I can tell you, we can't beat comments on Facebook, but what we can do is provide truth and accuracy in our reporting. It doesn't matter how many likes you get, it doesn't make it right. This is the truth. And if you dispute it, that's something that you have to take up with yourself. I am proud to say that I work here in Marlboro County and we're doing our parts in ensuring a safe environment. That does not mean that it won't go up. We're 1 week beyond Labor Day, as I mentioned. And so we'll have to see if our efforts will continue. Masks plus vaccinations help ensure that, again, we're creating a safe environment, and we'll continue to promote that. I think the presentation earlier today, these two young ladies have done a great job in our community, and I stand with them 100%. Some of the incentives that we have put in place to encourage and promote vaccinations include the $500 stipend that employees received 2 weeks ago. Again, being innovative and creative in our thinking helps us in our efforts to not only ask of our employees, but to also provide them with a resource to continue. We're in a place right now, and it may not be a big deal to some people, but being able to attend athletic events for free is a huge deal to young people. If you want to do the math on that, we have 5 football games at $7 or $8 a piece. I don't know how many basketball games we have, but I think that's going to equate somewhere around $150 or more when you include track and field, baseball, softball, etc. Probably a couple $100. So again, we'll keep this going. Another thing I'd like to do is take my hat off to our staff. If you take a look at this, we have over 80% of our staff that has received 1 or 2 shots to make sure, again, that if and when there's an interruption, thank you, Mr. I want to go to school. And don't just take my word for it. Speak to individual students yourselves. Don't take the words of some that haven't been in schools. Come and talk to kids. Come and talk to teachers. Again, you'll get a mixed bag of reviews, but at least you'll hear it for yourself and you'll know where we are. I also would like to acknowledge a couple of things that I'm going to need your support on board. I heard earlier someone mention that there's a lot of money being tossed around. We are doing everything that we can to support our staff. This next recommendation for me is going to continue along those same lines. Contact tracing has been a tremendous task. Our nurses are working early, late, and on the weekends to make sure that they are reaching every student and every family accordingly. I'm going to ask that they receive a $25 stipend per day through November until we can get a better handle on where we are as it relates to contact tracing and COVID and this variant. I also, before I finish with that, would make that same recommendation for transportation. Our transportation workers are going to work early and working late, doing double and sometimes triple routes. Imagine that, triple routes. It's not a secret across the state and across the nation, there's a tremendous shortage of certified bus drivers. Our bus drivers go above and beyond, and I'd like to have, and we've done this previously, the $25 extended to them as well through November. We'll see where we are after we come back after the break, but I'd like someone to support me with that at this time.
Dr. McCoy, I heard the list as your name. It's one group in particular that I've been seeing and hearing about and watching, doing a whole lot of work, and that's parent-teacher coordinators. I like to have them in that group. They're doing a tremendous job. They're doing a lot of hard work, especially with COVID now. They're doing a lot of things that they don't normally do, you know, and I just like to throw them in that group.
You can throw whoever you want to in the group. If we're going, let me say this with all seriousness.
I think that okay.
With all seriousness, I think an argument can be made for everyone, and so I don't disagree. I would like to say this. This is new terrain for all of us, and so I don't want anyone to think that just because we're acknowledging this by providing some type of financial incentive that we're saying you're okay or you should be okay, because again, there's a tremendous amount of work that's being done. So I have no qualms with you suggesting parent educators. I just need for the board, because this is coming out of ESSER funds, I just need for the board to support that.
Yeah, all three. All right, I agree. Maybe we can look at things during budget time and look at, yeah. Okay.
We've been good stewards. We just need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the $25 bonus. What's that stipend?
It's just a $25 stipend, again, for those that are working above and beyond. We have something.
For the three listed that have been working above and beyond through November? That's November, right? Okay.
Through the end of November.
Can I get a second?
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we provide a $25 stipend per day for those that are involved right now with COVID when it comes to transportation, the nurses, and parent-teacher coordinators. Are you ready for coordinators?
Educators, parent-teacher educators.
Per day,
I'm sorry,
per day or per week?
It's just $25
Per day.
that they're present, not on days that they're absent.
It was parent
Parent-teachers, parent educators, I'm sorry.
Parent educators.
Same thing?
No, it's not. The coordinator is an educator, parent educators. I know the group that you're talking about, parent educators. Coordinator would be.
I don't want to pay the wrong person. I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Well, we wouldn't be paying anyone. I don't think we'll get the name of it.
Yeah.
Okay. It was per day, yes. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposes? It has been approved. All.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank all of you that's doing all you can to make sure that we are being as safe as we possibly can. And I can't say that without looking at Ms. Nan. Thank you. Moving along, we're at capital improvement plan. Parking lot.
I'll ask, I noticed Mr. Branch is gone, but Mr. Branch early on objected to the high school stadium renovation because he wanted to see a parking lot first. And of course, we disagreed, as we sometimes do, but we were united in the fact that it was a task that was given to me, and mine was to see that it was done. Again, I know he is gone right now. This is the parking lot at the high school, and you have in your board packet, Ms. Hubbard, if you would help me with this, if you have the paperwork. Initially, when this project was proposed to you, it was coming in somewhere just shy of $1 million. In your board packet, you'll see a recommendation from the superintendent and our CFO for pages. And I want to make sure I get the number right. And so I'm going to ask Sharon Hubbard to come up and talk about what we have successfully been able to do and what we would need for the board to do to make this possible.
Good evening to our board chair, board of trustees, and Superintendent McCord. In your board packet tonight, the recommendation to allow the superintendent to take funds from our fund balance for the difference of this cost of the project. On July 12th, the Board of Trustees approved a resolution to authorize the issuance and the sale of general obligation bonds not exceeding $1.25 million. The sale took place already on August 31st, and will close on September 25th, which would generate approximately $643,000 in new money. Now this, as a result of this, our debt service mills will not change. It will remain at 33 mills. The funds will be used to pave the parking lot at Marlboro County High School. The cost of the project is approximately $797,000, leaving a balance of $155,000. And the recommendation of the superintendent is to allow him to take it from our fund balance, which we have over $7.3 million currently.
How much do we need? Boom.
We need about $155,000.
Again, I'm proud of the work that we do here in Marlboro County. I think more than anything else, we seek out best cost estimates. We've been great stewards of taxpayers' money. It's money that is needed to complete this project, though, has to come with your approval, your authorization. But if you recall, just a few months ago, the cost was going to be just under $1 million. I think it was $960,000. And so I think we've come a long way by being able to accomplish this, and we can get this work done if you approve it between now and the end of the year or the start of the year, depending on the weather.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we move to $155,000 for the pavement of the high school parking lot from the fund balance.
I'll second.
It moved in second that we allow the superintendent to move $154,238 from the fund balance for the purpose of completing the cost balance of repaving or the paving of the parking lot, which is $797,238. Are you ready for questions?
Quick question. So we're just moving it right now. We're not starting anything as far as
We give them approval to start.
to start. So we've already picked out the company and everything. So today will actually be approval to go forward and start with the project.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just want to clear.
Yeah, that's clear. All right. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hands. Opposes? It has been approved.
Let me, if I can, assure the board and the public that we are continuing with the works that have previously started. The slowdown has been to issues related to manufacturers across the country not being able to get production lines back up to normal since the start of this pandemic. Speaking directly to those that are concerned about the HVAC units at the high school that have been on order for some time, but we are continuing with our efforts to get that task done. This will just be an addition to. Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So the HVAC units are on back order, and as soon as they get here, our air conditioning units should be.
We are continuing with the efforts to get those units replaced. Yes, sir.
We now have 2 delegates and 2 alternates for the South Carolina School Board Association Delegate Assembly. We will need 2 delegates and 2 alternates. I had that somewhere. And that is on November, no, I'm wrong.
December 4th.
December the 14th?
December 4th.
December 4th. December 4th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the end of November. December 4th. I would like to go see anyone else that would be in. December 4th, it's on a Saturday. It's the delegate assembly where any laws and anything that may be pertaining to the school district as a whole, as the state will come about, and the whole new laws are being changed. It's being held in Charleston.
You like to go there?
Yes.
We need 2.
I need 2. I need one more person.
Might want to go to y'all.
I need one other person. We have 2 votes. The purpose is that we have 2 votes, 2 delegates, 2 votes. And then we need 2 alternates in case someone can't go. Is there anyone else that would be interested?
Don't say go to Charleston. It's a board meeting. Give the wrong impression.
You don't? Okay. That'll be myself and Mr. Flowers. I need 2 alternates. Hopefully we both will be able to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Coachman will be one alternate.
First weekend of every month is usually my drill date. If I'm known in a good enough time, I can make preparations. So I'll be another alternate as well. But just if you can, let me know. proper amount of time, so.
Well, I appreciate it, gentlemen. Okay, we've done that. And we're at Superintendent's report, student achievement.
Yes, sir. I'm going to talk about the opening of school. I just gave the clicker away. Right now, as it stands today, the enrollment, Marlboro County School District enrollment. Take a look at our 3-year student enrollment trends, and this is very important because, again, we're coming off of and moving through a pandemic. Our enrollment as of today, and I'm going to go school by school and just go to the cluster schools. 1920, the Bennettsville area schools were at 802, and as of 9/9/21, they're at 756. So a slight decline in the number of students, but there's an increase with those that were in attendance last year. The Blenheim area, again, you see a decline from 2019 and 20. Again, from 2020 and 21, that actually went up, but it has since declined of about 30 students in the Blenheim area. In the Clio area, in 1920, there were 260 students. That number dropped in 2021, and it has since dropped more to 189. McCall Elementary Middle, 650 3 years ago, 631 this year. So about 19 students different from 3 years ago. And then Wallace, the numbers there show from 3 years ago to now, just under 20 students difference, and that's for the Wallace area. Marlboro County High School, that number has actually gone up, and we're trying to get a good understanding of that because that's an anomaly. It's gone up significantly, more so than it was 3 years ago. I think, if I do my numbers right, somewhere around the neighborhood of 80 students. As a school district, we have lost approximately 103 students from 3 years ago, but we've gained 3 students from last year during the pandemic. I bring this up because some of you may have seen the recent census data, 2010 to 2020. There's about a 9.7% decrease in population in Marlboro County. If you look at the numbers for those that are school-age students, it's similar. I think it was about 7 or 8% decline. These are numbers that we all should pay particular attention to because if that trend continues, not just with the adults, but it will continue with the students. And so when we talk about building infrastructure that's going to create more opportunities for families to move and live and enjoy being in Marlboro County, then we continue to say that all parties are going to have to come to the table and collectively have conversations on how we can make this occur. I'm not sure if you have any questions, but if you do, I'll take those at this time. No questions? Okay. All right. We're going to turn it over to Dr. Bryant and Dr. Walsh. They're going to continue with the academic horizon for our visionary scholars. And before they start, Dr. Bryant is going to include a briefing of the summer map data, so that presentation won't occur tonight by Don Hood, just so that you know that'll keep us moving along. Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman McNeil, members of the board, Dr. McCord. We appreciate y'all having us tonight. This is a good time. We're glad you are still here as we bring the important information about what's going on with children here in the Marlboro County School District. One of the things I want to make sure that we are talking about, some of the things that I think came out that you have seen. School report cards, they were released on September 1st, 2021. There's the website. These report cards were given out. There's a variety of information, as you saw in those reports, about financial data, student enrollment, student achievement, and survey results. As you know, there were no ratings this year for schools. They used to rate, excellent, good, average, below average, and unsatisfactory, or whatever needs improvement. Those ratings were not done this year due to COVID. As we also need to note that is still up for discussion when that will start again. Some of the discussion right now, it may be another 2 or 3 years before we start having ratings again. So we'll be keeping you informed on that as we move through state report cards. An overview, overall districts across the state saw decreases in student achievement due to changes in attendance and a new learning environment caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Molly Spearman, she spoke on that at her press conference about how results of the annual assessments given to students at the end of the 2021 school year aren't where education leaders want them to be, but they need to be taken with a grain of salt because there were so many variables. One of the things I will point out, and that's one of the things that we were talking about as far as keeping students in school, one of the things that last year, if you remember, attendance was all over the place, not just for Marlboro County School District, but for all districts. I'm coming to you most recently from Chesterfield County. Our attendance was the same way. We had various forms of attendance, hybrid, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 2 days a week. Same thing here in Marlboro County. So that, I think what Molly Spearman is saying is hard to measure those results based on our attendance. Also, as you were noted, you were given this data, map analysis data in April. Our scores on the state assessment were very consistent with our map results. However, one of the good news about it is our students actually scored higher than the projected scores for our map assessment. This goes to the work of our teachers and our schools in doing their work to build those students up before they took those state assessments. Also, again, overall, there were decreases across the board as compared to results in 2019. No state assessments in 2020 due to the pandemic. So again, we know where that stands. Some highlights again, Dr. Watson, we celebrated the Marlboro County High School Bulldogs on their increase in graduation rate. That needs to be highlighted as an important thing. I know one of the things that I will say, Mr. Coach, you had a good remark, but one thing about high school, you had to earn credits. So that you got to earn credits, and you got to pass, and you got to have those credits for graduation. We can't fudge on that.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Yes, sir. Parent opinion surveys and teacher opinion surveys. I think that's worth noting. I put that in there because there's a lot of data in there. Sometimes in the back of the report card. If you got a chance to read that, you look at 83% of the parents satisfied with the learning environment. 91.2% of the teachers were satisfied with the social and physical environment. Also, very proud of our Biology 1 EOC. They increased from last year. And also our chronic absenteeism decreased. Also, one thing I want to say now is Bill Gates said this one time. He said, headlines in a way are what misleads you. Because bad news is a headline, okay? And gradual improvement is not. Let me say that again, because I want y'all to hear, because I think sometimes we want this quick fix and we want this thing to come overnight. But headlines, in a way, are what misleads you. Because bad news is truly a headline, and gradual improvement is not. So I think one of the things I can take from this pandemic, we were learning a new way to do school through the virtual platform. We were doing a new way of keeping up with things with children who may or may not be in school. So I commend our staff and our students and everyone that worked hard on that. Also, again, in response to our results, one of the things you will see very, very soon, after-school tutoring. We've already talked about mentoring programs. Those are important as we make children feel supported and feel like they are doing what they need to be doing in school and feel some success. Improving our technology infrastructure and integration with the curriculum. That's one thing that Mr. Davis to my right, he's helping with that Office of Instructional Technology. Implementing our initiatives with fidelity and providing support to our schools through the Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment. One of the things that we will be doing, my team, and we are doing right now, we came on board here in July, our goal is to support the efforts of our schools. Continue to offer face-to-face learning for all students. And also we will be starting our new strategic plan process as we have a new strategic plan coming up, because our old one at this point, kind of hard with everything that's going on with COVID. We need to go to a new starting point and kind of recalibrate. Moving forward, again, the results emphasize the importance of face-to-face learning across the country. We saw different evidence for students that need for them to be in school, and we are very proud of the efforts we've had so far in Marlboro County School District to stay in school to this point. So again, I'm going to, after I ask if you have any questions, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Walsh. She's going to tell you about some of the things that are going on. Because what we will do each month, we'll give you our principals a chance to tell you about the things they're doing at their schools to address learning loss and also to increase student achievement. So at this time, are there any questions from the board?
I don't have a question, just want to acknowledge the fact that you are doing hopefully all that you can, and we can see that, to make sure our kids are getting the best education, but not only that, more informative about what you're doing and how things are going to be working. We appreciate that. Just hearing that the principals will be coming forward,
yes,
letting us know, and you and Ms. Walsh and your team letting us know. To us, that's important. That's one of the things that we've been talking about for the past 2 or 3 years. And the more we know, the more informed we can be to everybody else.
And also, I want to add, as Dr. McCord said, I will talk a little bit about the summer reading camp and the summer school. One of the things I want to point out, in the 4 weeks that we had the summer reading camp, summarizing some of that data, we saw in our pre-K through 5 students, we saw 62% of them that saw gains of growth in their MAP testing during that 4-week time period. That's from 1 to 27 points. And also in the middle school, grades 6 through 8, we were very, very proud of that, because not only did we have a 3-point average gain in reading and a 3-point average gain in math, we also had almost a 90% attendance rate for those students who chose to be in the summer school program. So I commend our staff, commend the leaders of those programs, because to have students come in the summer, which speaks to the fact that kids do want to be in school. Again, to have middle school students, our attendance was over 88%. For the students that were in school, we had 177 students that were enrolled in our 6 through 8 program. The average attendance was over 156. And that translated to growth in their MAP scores during that 4-week period, which is pretty, speaks to not only the fact that kids want to be in school, but also speaks to the work that's being done during the summer program at Marlboro County High School. So that also helps with transitions as we move those students from the middle school program to the high school program, okay? Any other questions before I turn it over to Dr. Walsh to kind of summarize what's highlighting here at BIS? A lot of good things going on here that she can tell you about. All right, hearing none, I'll turn it over to Dr. Walsh. Dr. Walsh is our Executive Director for Elementary Education, and she will fill you in on the happenings at Bensfield meeting. Thank you.
Fine job, Mr. Bryant. Keep us good work.
Yes, he is a great leader, and we are doing some great things with him as our leader. Thank you so much. Board Chairman, Mr. McNeil, board members, and Dr. McCord, thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. So very quickly, I'm only going to take a few moments of your time, but I do want to point out some of the wonderful things that are taking place at Bennettsville Intermediate School. This just shows some of the things that they're focusing on. Their leaders are focusing on, and I'm not going to read all of them to you, but being team players, being dedicated, being determined, being unique, confident, trustworthy. This is a picture that shows you some of the STEM activities that are taking place at Bennettsville Intermediate School, as well as the student in the right corner. She received a positive office referral, so they're working very hard to reward students for good behavior. Who we are at Bennettsville Intermediate School. Building innovative students that lead, and LEAD stands for leadership, excellence, achievement, and determination. That's what they're building in our students. And then at BIS, they believe that every minute matters. All students receive the same opportunities. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but they are all focused on our students achieving. And then to summarize all of that, they are working very hard to become a STEM school, to develop future leaders of our schools, communities, and world. And that goes right along with the profile of the South Carolina high school graduate. There's a picture of our lovely team at Bennettsville Intermediate School. The goals this year are engaging in lessons and lesson plans, Literacy is a huge focus, and then they are working on the STEM certification for fall 2022. And I'm proud to say that 100% of their staff are Google Level 1 certified. This just talks about instruction. They're working on explicit direct instruction through grade level planning, through learning walks, through ongoing coaching, and through PLCs every week. In reading, we are following through with our Fontes and Pineal, and we're making great gains. We were all together today working on that from 8:30 until about 12:30 today, including our principals, our reading coaches, and our instructional coaches. And then we are working very hard at BIS on reading, writing, and sharing across the curriculum in classrooms. To address learning loss, they have a win time every morning from 7:50 until 8:20, Tuesdays through Thursdays, and everyone is helping students. They are tiered based on the instructional groups that they fall in, and all teachers, whether they're homeroom teachers or not, related arts teachers are participating. Everyone is in the building is helping with this win time to help our students gain that loss that has occurred. And then mentoring is a huge program at BIS. They have lunch buddies with the Bennettsville Police Department. They have morning meetings, family matters, Mondays and Fridays, and then community service clubs by homeroom the first and third Friday. Continuing with mentoring on the first and third Wednesday of each month, the girls participate in the Pearls Club through one of our sororities, and then the boys participate in the Bow Tie Club through Omega Men. And the mission of that is to help all young men and women to enhance their emotional, social, and academic growth and development. And then this just kind of reiterates all those initiatives that we just talked about. Celebrations, there are a lot of community service projects taking place at Bennettsville Intermediate, as well as the STEM Fridays. And this past Friday, they had the Earthquake Building Challenge, and that was a lot of fun. It involved engineering, collaborating, communicating, and innovating lessons. And this is a picture of a STEM activity. And then remember, at Bennettsville Intermediate, we are building innovative students that lead. Thank you so much. Any questions that I can answer for Bennettsville Intermediate School? Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Walsh.
Let me just reiterate again, this is something that we're going to do at each board meeting moving forward. That is, have a school present where they are and what they're doing academically to help our students achieve. At the next board meeting, I can tell you, we will identify our special needs department, led by Stacy Baranow, who will come in and give a comprehensive overview as to what's being done in our schools. Again, we want everyone to have good, accurate information so that when they talk about Marlboro County, it'll be factual. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, that's going to be Dr. Kekila Robinson. He's going to talk about that.
Good evening, Chairman McNeil, board members, and Dr. McCord. Before I present this month's vacancy update, I would like to share with you some trend data from our exit interviews. As you may recall, beginning in 2018, the HR department began conducting exit interviews as employees left the district. Over the last 3 years, the number of certified employees that have left Marlboro County School District has declined. If you notice on the slide, in 2018-19, 74 certified employees left the district. In 1920, 62, and then in 2020-2021, 50 certified employees left the district. During the exit interviews and according to the information that we received, the top 3 reasons for employees leaving the district, number 1, 38% to teach in another South Carolina district, 18% due to retirement, and 14% to teach in another state. Also, as we prepare for the 2022 recruitment season, HR is mindful that 3% of our certified staff is 2 years or less away from retirement, and 11% of our current certified staff are already at retirement age, meaning they could leave at any time. While our 21-22 school year is off to a phenomenal start, we unfortunately do still have a few certified vacancies in our schools. At Bennettsville Intermediate School, we're currently looking for a GT teacher and a media specialist. At BPS, 1 media specialist. At Blenheim Middle School of Discovery, 1 GT teacher, 1 STEAM teacher, and 1 theater teacher. At Clio Elementary School, 1 elementary teacher. At Marlboro County High School, 1 media specialist, 1 guidance counselor. We are thankful and grateful that we have no current vacancies at McCall Elementary School, Middle School, and no vacancies at Wallace Elementary and Middle School. I would like to point out, however, that while we did have 2 core vacancies, those vacancies have been addressed by consolidating classes and then using programs such as Elevate K-12 or another partnership. So all of our classes are covered. Any questions?
I think I want, how many certified staff do we have district-wide?
Not exact number, but approximately 279. That may be 276, but it's like 270. So, you said certified, correct?
Yes.
270.
All right, thank you.
Sharon Hubbard will come and give the financial report.
We're getting close. Well, I'm hungry too, I ain't gonna tell you. Go.
Good evening, Board Chairman McNeil, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent McCord. I'm here tonight to present to you our August financial statements. If you have any questions regarding the financial statements that's in your board packet. At August 31st, our cash and investment balances were $1.5 million. And also the district spending August 31st, $3,796,000 of a $38,560,818 budget, or 11% of the budget. And as you see in your board packet, cash transfers for the month of August totaled about $7 million, and we had a couple of budget adjustments for the August 2021 month. Do you have any questions regarding the financials for August 31st, 2021?
Any questions? Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
And we have a model policy for fire and safety guidelines. Herbert, I believe.
Perfectly.
Okay. This is a policy recommendation from South Carolina School Boards Association. I think that's included in your package.
Yes.
Go ahead.
On behalf of Mr. McNeil and Ms. Ellison, they asked me to share with you the model policy which is in your board packet, which is model policy for fire and safety guidelines. The State Department of Education, the Office of State Fire Marshal, developed the model fire and safety program guidelines that must be made available to each school district and charter school in the state. Each school district's board of trustees, a governing body, must adopt this policy and program for the school facility fire and safety, including inspections. The program which you have been provided must be adopted in open meetings in which the public may provide comments on the terms of the policies and programs, include routine self-assessments, and be published on the district's internet website in a prominent location. It is Mr. McNeil's and Ms. Hazel Ellison's recommendation that the proposed policy, which is in your packet, be adopted.
Need to do that tonight?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adopt the model fire and safety program guideline for the state of South Carolina school districts and charter schools.
Second.
It is moved in second that we adopt the recommendation that's been made by the Marlboro County School adopt the model fire and safety program guidelines that have been developed by the Office of the State Fire Marshal and South Carolina Department of Education. Are you ready for questions? Are you ready to vote? All in favor, let me know by raising your right hands. Opposed are the same. It has been adopted.
How you doing tonight, Ms. Elmer?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We still woken.
I know. I wish my salad was a little bit bigger earlier. Good evening, Chairman McNeil, board members, and Dr. McCord. I am here tonight to ask for board approval for a $2,000 donation given to Wallace Elementary Middle School from Ms. Trina Spite of Priority One Healthcare. She provided the donation for incentives, supplies, and celebrations for students and staff. And we are very grateful for her generous donation to our school, and I ask for your approval tonight.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the $2,000 donation to the Bearcat Country Wallace Elementary Middle School from Priority One Healthcare Policy KCD, and we thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the $2,000 donation to Wallace Elementary Middle School, given to them by the Priority One Healthcare. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hands. Opposed are the same. It has been approved.
Thank you so much.
$1,000 donation by the Glenn Middle School of Discovery.
Take that one, Rick.
Deadly. But it's getting donated by L.J. Curitan.
Say again?
The donation is by L.J. Curitan.
L.J. Curitan?
From
Maplewood?
New Jersey. C-R-E-T.
L.J. Curitan.
It's $1,000 that will be used at the school to further enrich programs at the school related to students.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the $1,000 donation to BMSD from Maplewood, New Jersey, L.J. Curitan for $1,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the $1,000 donation made to, given to the Glenn Middle School of Discovery from L.J. Curitan of Maplewood, New Jersey. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed are the same. It's been approved. Second reading of policy GA-GCA and GDE-GDR.
Chair, I make a motion that we approve the second and final reading of all the policies stated GA, GCA, and GDE and GDR with the amended version of keeping the staff leave and sick leave the same as first reading.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we approve the second reading of GA-GCA and GDE-GDR with the exception of the changes that was made during the first reading. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hands. Opposed are the same. It's been done. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board at this time?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Coates.
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed are the same. We are adjourned. It's clear.